Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. This is a short summary on women empowerment from the videos and the interviews that I've been doing and my own personal experience over the last 20 odd years in the space of women empowerment. Embodied learning and personal development is my niche. My name is Charlotte Duchnoot. I'm also the founder of the world's first self-coaching and accountability tool, which includes a topic for women empowerment, two topics actually, one for women generally under the age of 45 and for women over the age of 45. So in the link you'll see an opportunity to get access to this if you would like. In the women empowerment space and all the interviews I've done over the last month or so, the trend is clear. There is an acknowledgement from both men and women that life has shifted in the empowerment space, and there is definitely a trend from women to move away from assuming that the role that they played in the corporate world defines their empowerment. In the business world, it's almost shifting as if it's going from empowerment to equality. So that empowerment, the general consensus is it's an inside job. So if you don't believe you can have that corporate position, if you don't believe you can sit in a boardroom, if you don't believe that you've got the skill set, then you will never feel empowered. So there are 7 key areas in women empowerment, and this relates to men too, that form the basis as an underlying feeding trough, if you would like to call it that, where you can dip in and access different ways to carry yourself forward as an empowered woman. Being a parent is an empowering space too. You don't have to be in a boardroom to be an empowered woman. The same goes for men. And empowerment is an inside job. It's how much you believe in yourself and how much you are transferring that belief into the world around you. So the first item, there's 7 items on the list that I've got to share with you today. The first one is honesty. Brutal honesty with self. No one else will ever be as honest with you as you are with yourself. And if you find a friend who's honest with you, they're a keeper. Being honest with yourself is the hardest thing in the world. And I remember a very dear friend of mine, Di Thompson. You'll know her as the Damanzi lady, South Africa's first fine fragrance creator for men and women. Di always says there's one rule in life, and that's brutal honesty with self. Staying honest with yourself, believing in yourself, knowing when you need to shape up and when you need to ship out. Making those choices for yourself versus letting life give you those choices. The second item is posture. Your posture shows up as an empowered woman or not. So how are you showing up? How are you showing up? Do you show up with a posture that speaks of confidence, that speaks of what's in your heart? Or do you show up in a space of fear, all that keeps you small? The third item is vulnerability. When you are vulnerable, you are at your most powerful. I've said that for many, many years in the dance studio that I had to all the women. We are in this together. We are all vulnerable. No one is better than another one. Life is about being vulnerable. It's about finding the spots of you that are, you might define them as weak, and they're not. They're actually vulnerable spaces, because within that you are authentic. And it's not a place to be manipulated. Acting the victim, woe is me, hard done by. The past is the past. Nothing's going to change the past. How you show up with that knowledge in that vulnerable space is what makes you powerful. And if you'd like to explore more on vulnerability, Brené Brown has got some brilliant material online, free online, for you on that topic. Remember, when you're vulnerable at your most powerful, don't abuse it. Stay in touch with it. Learn the lessons from it. Look at the Cartman triangle if you want to transform, if you get stuck in your victim space. Every space in the Cartman triangle, victim, rescue, or perpetrator, it's that little triangle. And for humans to transform out of that is evolution for them. It's when we get stuck in any one of those that our life seems to halt. And then we experience life only with that space. So to consider your future is to think about, where am I at, what is the lesson for me, and how can I get myself out of this? Do I need to be vulnerable and ask for help? Or can I do something about this for myself? There's no wrong. It's just an acknowledgement of who you are and where you want to go. The fourth item is language. How is your language representing you as an empowered woman. And it also relates to how you speak. And if you need to get yourself a speech coach, a speaker coach, speech coach, whatever it is that you do for a living, there are many people out there who earn an income from that. And to show up in your posture, speaking your empowered language, how different is that for you than what you were maybe 5 years ago, or when you were 20, or when you're 15? It changes, and that's okay. But being aware of it is important. The fifth item is dress code. Do you dress empowered every day, or do you arrive in your schluff clothes? Tracksuits, I'm guilty of it too. I'm guilty of many of these things too. It's a process. Does your dress show you and the world around you that you're empowered? When you look in the mirror in the morning, do you get dressed and look in the mirror and say, I'm ready for my day? Or do you just decide, I don't really care if they see me in a tracksuit or tackies or whatever it is? How does your empowerment show up for you? And how do people know that you're walking your talk in that space? Letting your language and your posture, being honest, being vulnerable in that space. You know, the vulnerability and learning about how to be honest with yourself, all of those build resilience. There's lots of things that build resilience, but remember that being vulnerable and dressing up and using the right language and showing up as that empowered posture and being honest, that is all building resilience inside of you. Empowerment resilience. The sixth item is values. Probably the most important. A woman without values will never know where she's going. And again, being a parent is probably the most important leadership role a person could ever hope to hold. And that's where you teach values. The values that you were taught, the values that you pass on, the new ones that you bring in, the ones you leave behind. Are you walking, talking your values? Or are you taking shortcuts? An empowered woman knows her values and knows why she's got them. And of course, the most relevant of all of these is the actions you take that relate to each of them to make the changes. Without action, it's just a thought. In embodied learning, the biggest lesson you will learn is the more action you take physically with your body, the faster you shift and transform your life. So if you would like to get access to this, the Crafting an Empowered Legacy, Double Bubble, Toil and Trouble, Woman Empowerment, Authentic Empowerment for Amazing Woman, or Crafting an Empowered Legacy, have a look at the link below. All the topics we've discussed today, we touch on those, and it's a very private journey that you're in. It's a place of safety. You define and measure where you want to go, what you want to be, and decide where you are right now. It's your personal choice as to how you want to shift your empowerment status. No one measures your empowerment but you. And if you're under 45 years old, there's a good chance that empowerment journey has been very, very powerful. Over the age of 45, and it's a guesstimate, between 40 and 45, that the shift usually happens for women when the hormones change. Everything changes. And you learn to just step into it gracefully. Or you can resist it. So again, if you want to build resilience and empowered resilience and craft that empowered legacy, is getting to know yourself in these key areas. And inside here, there's quite a lot of those. There's quite a lot of hints. There's 108 actually in the topic. So scroll down, have a look, see if you want to sign up and learn more about yourself in that space, and post your comments and share your journey. Remember, empowerment, the now current state of empowerment is that it is an inside job. With these tools, with your Hidden Genius, it's called your Hidden Genius, the whole series of all the beautiful topics will take you beyond self-mastery towards fuller potential. Empowered potential. Knowing who you are, knowing what you want, nothing will stop you when you believe in who you are. But you first have to get to know who you are. I hope it's made an impact for you. I hope if you've liked this, please share it. Tag anyone who would like to watch it. It will make a difference. Remember, there are many women that have gone before us. We are not the first ones on the planet. Our journey is not exclusive. It's inclusive. Many of us go through the similar things that happen, and it's just different times of our life. We are each unique, and we each have our own journey, and yet together we build a community and a tribe of women. Hope you've enjoyed it. Stay in touch and follow the tribe.